Hi. Are you here? Are you expecting some kind of very deep explanation of everything that's happening in the Squabble Up video by Kendrick Lamar? Are you like me and so many others where you're just running around on the internet, running around on YouTube, putting in Squabble Up explained, Squabble Up decoded? Well, that's not what I'm here to do. I may be the always positive new music review show hosted by a French professor, but just because I'm a professor doesn't mean that I know everything. And I certainly don't know everything about this video. So instead, what I want to do is start off by saying that we're all right and we're all wrong in this instinct to explain and decode what this video is. Okay? And it's part of the contradiction. That's what I really want to talk about. The contradiction of this video, which is a contradiction echoed in a lot of Kendrick Lamar's work. I mean, the song itself is a song about unity and fighting, okay? It's a song that's supposed to get everybody together. Bloods and Crips, cats and dogs playing together. And you're supposed to be, when I hear the music, I like to dance, okay? But it's also squabble up, let's fight. But it's what interests me the most about this video is that it's like highly cerebral. You know, there's all these little messages, all these little Easter eggs. Oh, we love Easter eggs on the internet, don't we? Don't we want to have the ending explained? Which, ironically, I'm going to spend most of the time in this video explaining the ending. And I think that's the contradiction, is that we are supposed to not be able to decode this video. It is intentional. It is not actually meant to be explained. It is meant to be felt. Don't forget, one of the key themes of this album is F a double entendre, I want y'all to feel this ish. Okay? Old soul B-word, I probably built them pyramids. It is supposed to be felt. So if you're running around and you're saying, how come I don't understand all of this? It's because you're not. I don't think there's a very small percentage of the population who could spend the entire video. Do you know that meme? The Leonardo DiCaprio meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he points at the screen and goes, I know that. You know that meme. Like, no one is doing that the whole video. And it's interesting because I've watched, 10 explainer videos, and they're all incomplete in different ways. And it's because in order to really understand this video, you have to feel it. And in order to feel it completely, a whole bunch of things have to be in place. You have to be a Black American. So I'm not. So that was very much a lot of things in this video whoosh, over my head, but it's not enough to be black. That doesn't give you, or be a Black American, that doesn't give you the magical keys to understand this. If you're a Black American in, North Carolina, you're not going to magically understand this because you also have to be from the West Coast. Now, you can be from the West Coast and point at the screen and say, I know that, and not be black and get a lot of these references. You know? Hell, I lived in Los Angeles, I lived in California for a few years, including the Bay Area, so I saw the hyphy t-shirt and I pointed at it because I remember downloading hyphy songs on LimeWire. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean that I'm actually West Coast or I'm black or any of that, but it gets you that pointing feeling. You also, I hate to say it, young people, you kind of have to be over the age of 30 to get this video. There's a lot of old school references. It might even help if you're in your late 30s to get this. There's a lot of references to times that were before. That's why, of all the sort of strange reviews I saw or analyses of this, like the young, 22-year-old reviewer, they could be from the West Coast and they could be black, but watching this video in a lot of ways is just completely over their head because there's so many things that are dated in time. And finally, you have to be extremely well versed in the political and popular culture of Black Americans from the 60s until today. So what can I do? Why are you watching me in my bathrobe? Woke up at 6 a.m., right, with my coffee cup. Time to glaze the Kendrick, right? That apparently is my new slogan. Thank you to the 100,000 of you who watched my analysis of the album. It's awesome. I'm going to bring you what I can. I'm going to bring to you the times that I pointed my finger as somebody who is fairly well versed in Black American culture from the 60s to today. I don't specialize in that, but I do pay a lot of attention to great culture and great art, and it just happens to be that most great culture and most great art since the 1960s has either been created by or stolen from African Americans, okay? And also, I can bring you the age. Because some of these references, like I got as being a dude who's in his 40s. Okay? So, what does that mean? That means like we're supposed to get this video and we're supposed to not get it at the same time. It's this other paradox of the question is Kendrick Lamar gatekeeping? Is he showing us all these things and saying like, you're not like us, you're not like us, you're not black, you're not like us, you're not from West Coast, you're not like us, you're under 30, you're not like us, you don't know anything about the Black Panthers, you're not like us. Is that what he's doing? Is he gatekeeping? I don't think so. I think he's doing something else, and I think he's been doing it for the last year. It's a new term I'm trying to come up with. It's called gate showing, all right? It's a variation of explaining boundaries, okay? But he is showing us the gate, and he's going one step further. He's opening up the gate and saying, hey, you want to see what's on the other side of this gate? Now, I'm not going to let you in because this is not for you, and you might mess it up. But do you want to see? Can I share this gate with you? Think of him like an oceanographer of Black American West Coast culture, okay? Oceanographers don't hate you because you can't swim. They don't hate you because you don't know what a mollusk is. Their job is to study, to live in the water, to understand it, and then to educate people. How do you piss off an oceanographer? I'll show you. I'll tell you how. You go, hey, look at this piece of coral that I picked up when I was swimming in Australia. That's how you piss them off, because they have to explain to you that a coral reef is a living thing, and it's endangered, and if it goes, a lot of the ocean's going to go, and it's a huge human catastrophe if you dumb son of a bitch, just go swimming and think coral looks nice, and you pick it up, and you put it on your bookshelf, and then throw it away in a couple years. You are committing genocide on the ocean. And you're expecting this oceanographer to just sit there and smile at you while you desecrate what he has dedicated or she has dedicated or they have dedicated their life to? American culture has been picking up pieces of coral for the past hundreds of years and saying, look, look. They pick up Black American culture, they steal it, they grab it, they spoil it, they destroy it. They take it for themselves, they put it up on their bookshelves, and then they show it to the oceanographers. And when the oceanographers say, hey, don't you dare take this away from us, they go, oh, whoa, whoa, gatekeeper. So much for the tolerant left. I thought we were all supposed to be equal. So don't mess with the coral reef. And don't jump on the other side of that gate pretending like it's your house, right? The final paradox is that I'm not going to be playing the music for you. Because you don't get any money on YouTube if you play the music. And sometimes they take your video down. The money is important, but also the fact that I want you to see it. But this song is so good. Oh my God. So this morning I had to do laundry because I tried to do laundry last night, but I forgot to hit go. ADHD is real. All I was doing was thinking about this video. I forgot to hit, go on the LG. On the Samsung, sorry, so I could play its little song. Mustard on the beat, that beautiful Samsung music. So this morning I go down there, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, I'm wearing my bathrobe, I'm carrying my computer, I'm thinking about this, and I start watching No Life Shaq's reaction. Just get more data, more information. And the music comes on. I swear to God, I was tired, I was groggy, I had yet to have my coffee, and I start dancing. I start doing what I call the skip walk, okay? That is when Professor Skye does the crip walk, which I will never show to anybody on planet Earth. But whenever I listen to Kendrick Lamar's music by myself in a room, I try to do his little dances with the leg, with the foot shuffle, and all that, and the hands up, all that. I try to do that, okay? The skip walk. It's the whitest crip walk you can possibly have. I immediately start skip walking the second that I hear this. Like, I cannot stop. It is literally, when I hear music, I like to dance. Like, I just immediately did it. Okay, so let's do this, okay? Let's also, why did he take out the hook? Why did the hold up, why did he make that incomprehensible? Why did he make that something that we don't understand what he's saying? I don't know. All right, look at this. You see, I've got graphics today. So let's get into it, huh? First of all, I'm going to also be giving you homework. I'm going to be pointing you to other YouTubers who I think do a better job than I'm going to do in explaining this video because of that life experience that they have that I do not have, okay? Abso-fucking-lutely, if you don't know her work, she's great. She referred to this video as being about black places and spaces. And I really enjoy the way that she says that. If you don't know her stuff, really check it out, because she's very similar to me in the way that, like, she is very, very educated, and she takes that education to try to talk about the things that she cares about, but sort of mainstreaming it through popular culture. It's awesome. And it got me thinking, you know, how much American culture is based on my childhood, based on the 80s, based on Goonies and Stand By Me and E.T. and kids who love Star Wars. And it makes me think of Stranger Things, you know? Stranger Things, frankly, the most unrealistic thing about it is how diverse it is. The reality of the suburbs, as a result of white flight and systematic racism, suburbs were not diverse in the 80s. This time that they're showing, that's a falsehood. That's why I actually cropped out that kid in this photo. But it's like white places and spaces, especially suburban white places and spaces, are like a cheat code to immediately getting a huge audience and getting a bunch of people to love what you're doing. And it's great. I love it. I love it. It's fun. I mean, I didn't know how to ride a bike because I skateboarded instead. Don't even ask me how good of a skateboarder I was. Answer is the worst skateboarder you've ever seen. Okay? I ollied so bad I went below the ground. I ollied and I actually dug into the earth. That was how little air I got. But you know, like this whole like mythology of the 80s and that 70s show and Stranger Things. Yes, of course, this does exist in Black American culture. There are TV shows and movies dedicated to black places and spaces, this kind of nostalgic look at what was going on during especially Reagan's 80s, where everything was great in the American suburbs and everything was terrible in the cities, and those very related problems and benefits tied into the war on drugs and Reaganism, Reaganomics and trickle-down economics. In the suburbs is where all the money was accumulated, and the money was supposed to trickle down into the inner city, but it somehow just ended up staying there, okay? So I really love this terminology, places and spaces. That's a really good way. Check out her video, check out her stuff if you don't already know it. Of course, it starts off with an upside-down pyramid. Who built the pyramid? No, it's a chandelier. I like this because it ties into the actual music and the sound. And then we get this dancing. And this is the joy. To me, I don't want to break down who is this woman. I feel like I am this woman. This morning, when I was getting ready to restart the laundry, this was the dance that I was doing. Now, it wasn't actually, but this is the way the music makes you feel. Now, Kendrick is all, I'm too cool to look at the camera. I'm so cool, I'm so disaffected. He's using her to express himself. Like, remember the Angry Obama sketches on Key and Peele? This is joyful Kendrick. That's who she is. She is expressing the joy that he feels inside himself, but that he doesn't show because he's so busy mean-mugging and being unbothered, you know? Oh, yes, there's a picture of the Abso-Effin-Lutely's video. Great, check it out. You know, a little picture of him up close, this belt. I don't get the belt. I don't know what the belt is. I'm sure somebody whose life experience more closely relates to Kendrick Lamar could tell you, but it's not me. There's his inner dancer, all right? Now also, like this is a great example of why this video is so awesome. So if you watch The Company Man, Justin Hunt, wait, I think you might, okay, 1 second. I don't want you to accidentally see my, I need to put this on Do Not Disturb because I don't want you to see the messages between my wife and I. But this is her computer and I don't have my glasses. How do I turn on Do Not Disturb? All right, there we go. Do Not Disturb for an hour. There you go. See, this is some real time stuff. All right, so we have The Company Man who did his video, and this is why you have to go all over the place to figure this thing out because he explains in his video who this guy is. I don't know who this guy is. I'm not a California dude. I haven't been in the game as long as he has. I haven't been in the game at the level that he has. You have to go all over the place to put stuff together in this video, you know? And this whole image of the gangbangers, if you haven't seen Open Mike Eagle's reaction to this video, it's awesome. He describes how the changing fashions of gangbangers are represented in this video. I never would have picked that up. Okay, we have these great scenes, all these contradictions of getting together and fighting. We have these bicycles. I assume that's from someplace in California, Bay Area, Los Angeles. I don't know. I'm from Boston. Okay? And we have this beautiful image with the flags. Okay? Now, if you don't know the history, okay? Wait, is this too dark? Yeah, let's make that a little bit brighter for you. So David Hammonds is the person who designed this flag for Black Americans. What's interesting was he actually adapted Marcus Garvey's flag. So if you don't know Marcus Garvey, that goes way back, early 20th century, one of the pioneers of Black nationalism and going back to Africa. And this is sort of an intentionally a less scary image of a kind of Black nationalism, not Black nationalism in the Garveyite sense, but still it is showing some kind of heritage to that without being as scary and offensive. Is Kendrick Lamar intentionally making a reference to Marcus Garvey? I don't know. Probably. It's hot in my house. Then we have him reading the book, How to Be More Like Kendrick for Dummies. I just read this as him understanding that he is on some level a cartoon. This whole video, I feel like he is sort of being a cartoon version of himself, the disaffected, uncool person. I think he's having fun with the fact that he's sort of playing this character of the king of the unbothered. Of course, we have the fight, the contradiction of squabble up. We have the hyphy. Oh my God, seriously. Because I lived in Oakland in 2001. I moved there in October 2001. Great time to go, by the way, from Boston to the Bay Area. Fall 2001. It's not scary at all being on those airplanes. Anyways, so and I was like, what is West Coast rap about? So I downloaded a bunch of E40, including the great Grinding remix, Dale Earnhardt Signature Edition, optional package. One of my favorite rap lines of all time. Dale Earnhardt optional edition, premium package. Just love that song. And then also a bunch of hyphy music, which is a very aggressive dance style of music that was popular in Oakland. Here he is, right? And this is the thing. I can decode this for you, and you can understand, oh, it was a dance thing. It was a dance thing in Oakland in the early 2000s. But you don't really feel it. And I don't really feel it, because I wasn't actually getting very hyphy. I just happened to live in Oakland when people in Oakland were getting hyphy, but I certainly was not a hyphy dude. I was working part-time at a bilingual school. I was a literal snack monkey. I would take snacks from the middle school to the high school and from the high school to the middle school. That was my job. Anyways, so that's the whole thing, So I went like this. I did that meme, but I didn't really feel it, But then we get to this image, and this is what is just hilarious to me. Basically nobody who I saw recognized this image. And to me, it gave me such joy to see this image, because I have spent so much of my life, yeah, that's me. I have spent so much of my life staring at the Power cassette. Okay, the Ice-T Power cassette with this woman's butt and the sawed-off shotgun, or the regular shotgun. I don't know if it's sawed-off. I don't know anything about guns. I'm a liberal, man. I don't know about guns. Some kind of shotgun. I know that much. And I am intimately aware and familiar with this image. With Evil E and Ice-T in the middle, and then the model holding onto the gun. So to me, I see that, and I watch other people and they just missed it. And that's the thing. That's the thing. This moment, it came from me because I love rap. I love hip hop. I grew up on it, right? And I didn't grow up with everything, I didn't listen to some stuff and I did listen to other stuff. And I loved Ice-T and I loved Power and I loved that image. And it was a very striking, strange image to me because I did not understand what that was. Okay? That was not how sexuality was presented to white suburbanites, okay? So, it's that beautiful moment, and it ties in together. And also, don't. We're going to talk a lot in this channel about Black Americans being turned into punchlines for popular culture. How many great Black Americans have been turned into punchlines for white culture. This is some real coral reef destruction, and it really bothers me. And Ice-T is one of those guys. Ice-T, the only rapper to be actually censored on his heavy metal album for his song Cop Killer, then goes on to be doing Cheerios commercials and Geico commercials, and he's a cuddly teddy bear on a cop show. I hate what American culture has done to it because I understand he has to get his bag. That's fine. But he has led such an amazing life. He was like a breaker. He was a breaker way back in the World Class Wrecking Crew days, where he was actually on the World Class Wrecking Crew. He was instrumental in the foundation of all West Coast rap, not just gangster rap. And then he basically invented gangster rap. And now he's kind of a punchline for white Americans being like, oh, look, his name is Ice-T, and he's on Ice-T, and he's Ice-T, and he's Ice-T. He's serious. He is a serious guy. And then we have this sort of tableau with the fighting. Oh yeah, and by the way, that guy, it feels very Spike Lee-ish to me, but I'm not going to front. I don't know what it is. I mean, it feels like Spike Lee. It feels like Spike Lee when he was quoting Night of the Hunter, the Bob Mitchum movie. I feel like Radio Raheem had love and hate knuckle things like that. Did it say that? I don't know. Let's not front. Let's not pretend like we know. Let's be okay with the fact that we can't point to everything and say, I know what that is. This moment as well, thanks to many black commentators, they tell me this is Soul Train. I remember Soul Train very well because every time I'd see it on TV, I turned it immediately off because it confused the hell out of me. I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know who this is for. This makes me uncomfortable. Okay? That was my honest reaction as a white suburbanite to Soul Train. So I didn't pick up that this was a Soul Train reference. I did pick up that they are dressed in a very 80s and late 70s, mid 80s way. Then this image, okay? This image I sort of got, but this is the thing. If you are, based on what I've seen on YouTube, watching other people, especially Read My Soul. Read My Soul's analysis of this is great because he shows a picture of himself with his family that is of the exact same type. Like he explains precisely his moment. And this moment, the pointing at it, for him is always going to be more powerful than the pointing moment for me. Because for me, it's an abstract thing. I liked Ice-T's music. Ice-T is cool, right? Did I call him Ice Cube for like half the video? Oh, dear God, I hope I didn't. That's his thing. Like pointing and saying, but like this is how he felt. This was his life. The term that he used at the very end of his video, he calls this whole video ghetto feng shui, which I just love that he just threw that in at the end because I think that's a pretty good way of describing it. And we had this whole scene, Jesus saves gangsters too, all this paradox of good and evil. Of course, I talked a lot in my video all about the importance of Mexican-American culture, and we see that here with this dance party, obviously, with a bunch of Mexican-Americans, presumably from Compton. And we have the Nate Dogg image honoring a great West Coast singer who died. And then we see this image. And everyone thinks this is for Nipsey Hussle because it probably is. But it's interesting that Nate Dogg and Nipsey Hussle are put together even though they died like a decade apart. We have this image. Come on now. No suburban white kid who grew up in the 90s does not know Menace to Society, has not seen that movie more than they've seen Casablanca or freaking Gone with the Wind. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. That was just this great moment. Directed by the Hughes brothers. They're not their best movie, by the way. Their best movie is Dead Presidents. You've never seen Dead Presidents? Seriously, go check out Dead Presidents. But it's a great movie. It's a great movie. And it just connects right to there. And that ties in this whole theme. Hey, academics, scholars, do a whole paper about representations of children in this video. I dare you. I double dog dare you. It's easy. It writes itself. The precarity that all of these children are in, from being on the highway sign to being in implied danger in this scene where the kid's about to be by a shooting, okay? All of these, to the kid playing with the car that is right in front of him that if it were to go into drive, would drive right over him. The precarity of the good kids in the mad city. It writes itself, you stupid academics. So you write the paper so I don't have to, okay? Go ahead and publish it. You can quote me if you want. I'd appreciate it. I need more stuff on my resume. Then we had the dance party in front of the lowrider and the dogs. And then we get to this moment, which is the main reason I wanted to do this video. I saw this moment. This doesn't even begin to describe how excited I got. It doesn't even begin to describe how excited I was because of how much I love this CD and I love this artist, Black Moses. Most people that I saw comment on this when they watched it the first time said, "Oh, is that Jesus?" Y'all, Kendrick Lamar is not in the New Testament right now. He's not. He's in the Old Testament. He's talking about Isaiah and he's talking about Moses. Black Moses. Now, I wish I could show you the amazing gatefold on this, because on the album, it unfolds into having this image huge, like on a full vinyl thing, but on the CD version, you just get totally cheesed out. You just get that. So, unfortunately, that's all I have of the Black Moses moment. But again, it ties into this really, really important moment that we are in, where he is trying to validate and glorify Black American culture in a very real way, right? 1 second, I need to make sure. Oh wait, can I really pause the thing I'm recording? I'm gonna try that. All right, it turns out I can pause that. That's exciting. I totally forgot that my wife had a doctor's appointment. So I got my 3-month baby down there, and I'm kind of rocking her in a little rocking chair. But I wanted to get back to the importance of Isaac Hayes, okay? I love Isaac Hayes. I actually spent a lot of time in my last video explaining sort of the way that white audiences interact with soul and R&B. And I actually put Isaac Hayes as right in the middle, because on the one hand, a lot of his music is very appreciated by a white audience. On the other hand, it's not. I think this goes back to that same question of punchline, because when you say Isaac Hayes, everybody laughs and says, "Oh yeah, Shaft, that funny song, that, you know, shut your mouth, and it's so funny, ha 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 ha." And they think of, "Oh, Chef, oh yes, Chef from South Park, he's so funny, he's such a funny guy." Don't you dare laugh at Black Moses. Don't you dare laugh at Isaac Hayes, because the same year he released this soundtrack, he released this double album. Okay? And I need to put you up on game, because a lot of you are saying that this is a reference to Jesus, and this is a reference to Isaac Hayes. Okay? Isaac Hayes' first album is great, very enjoyable. Okay? He'd already been writing songwriting in Memphis. If you have to go to one place in America, go to Memphis, go to the Civil Rights Museum, go to Stax, go to Graceland. It's an amazing place to go. You know, but of course, oh yeah, I also had to buy that album on vinyl. I got that one too. But of course, his masterpiece is Hot Buttered Soul. If you ever ask me, what album do I need to know? I think Hot Buttered Soul is a top 5 album, period. All time. All-time great album, Hot Buttered Soul. I own it on CD, I own it on vinyl, and I own another copy in vinyl that I have framed on the wall in my basement. In case this one ever goes wrong, I have another one, because it's just that good. We're talking joy, absolutely killer album. You know, we got us live at the Sahara, where you open up the front. And who's that? Who's that in there? There he is. There's Black Moses. And he's got this great, amazing imagery that he used back in the time, where he'd be wearing these gold chains as clothes, you know? And this is why I talk about the punchline thing, because he's turned into a punchline, but he was this amazing figure of Black power and Black excellence in the 70s, who is now just the Shaft guy that was on South Park. But this is the reference. It's Black Moses. And if I had the vinyl, which I'm going to get eventually, it's pretty expensive because it's so cool, you would see that this unfolds into that exact image, and he's out like that. And it looks like it's a crucifix thing because, of course, Moses and Jesus are very connected in terms of the way people, it's called typology, you know, where you connect the Old Testament and the New Testament. You know, it seems very connected, but this is not Jesus. It is absolutely Black Moses. So what does Black Moses even mean? Well, he wasn't the first Black Moses. The first Black Moses was Nat Turner. He was called Black Moses, you know, the person who helped to organize the slave revolt and kill a bunch of slave masters to, like, literally kill Whitey for, like, the first time. But he wasn't the only Black Moses during those times. Of course, Harriet Tubman was also called Black Moses. And this is the important thing, is that Moses in the the African American community has been a very important figure since they've been in America, because he was the person who helped to set the slaves free in Egypt. He helped to set the Jews free when they were enslaved. It's weird, actually, because Harriet Tubman used to have a little song that she'd sing, a spiritual song that she would sing. There would be an indicator on the Underground Railroad to make sure you knew who was safe and who wasn't. Do you know the name of that song? It's called Down Moses. When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell that old Pharaoh, let my people go. You know the melody. When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Okay? Moses is not, Exodus is not some, it's just a little Bible passage. It is a supremely important Bible passage. And you can just spend a lot of time, and I did. You can find articles on the importance of Moses and Exodus to both the recently enfranchised, the recently freed, and still to this day in the Black American community, as is evidenced by the fact that we have Black Moses. So do we have a fourth Black Moses? Okay, do we have Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, Isaac Hayes, Kendrick Lamar? Is his goal to free his people from the shackles of this society that has put them in these boxes and treats them like punchlines and abuses their culture and takes their culture for their own? I don't know if he's calling himself Black Moses, but I do know that he is asking us to consider the question. Maybe he's not our savior, but maybe he is a Moses-like figure. Now, I know I called him Isaiah in my last video. I'm telling you, he's a super Old Testament dude, okay? His whole I am not your savior thing could have just been hey, I'm an Old Testament dude. And that's what's fascinating, is you also see in this image on that other side, the image of the Black Panthers. I've studied the Black Panthers. Again, we go back into this question of punchlines, how things in American culture get reduced. Do you know how the Black Panthers started? Do you know how they started? They started by giving lunches. Okay? Giving breakfast, giving food to hungry kids in the ghetto. That's how they started, because they knew hungry minds do not think well. That is how they started. That was their importance. That was the level that they were working at. And over time, they got more militant, and over time, they got infiltrated by the FBI and destroyed from the inside. It is a tragedy, the way that Americans have remembered Black Panthers in our history. They need to be venerated and understood for the great things that they did and the great things that they stood for, and not the COINTEL propaganda that paints them as something that they were not. It's all so complicated, because we also have in the back this image of, Black Jesus. But, his face is covered up so that if you see it from a distance, you don't know if that's a painting of Jesus or if that's a picture of somebody who's just been enslaved. It reminds me strongly of the TV show Roots. If you haven't seen it, it's the story of the Middle Passage, starring LeVar Burton, all about how he's abducted and brought to America and enslaved. And it's interesting, right? Because that's part of the whole issue. Moses and Jesus, all these images of people being saved, this liberation theology, when at the same time religion itself was used as a tool to oppress. That's why I want to bring back this quote from Rodney Carmichael that I read to you in the last video I did. Are we, and again, this is a black guy speaking, not me speaking, are we damned by our existence in America, or are we damned by our reliance on a theology that paints us a cursed people? Is it in the inherent wickedness of America's racialized politics, or our weakness as a people that we must overcome? Or is our faith predicated on a false binary that only feels like free will while leaving us judged by our nation and cursed by our God? It is a very complex relationship. Again, listen to The Thief Next to Jesus by Ka, one of the best rap albums of the year, a true delight, a truly deep and amazing album. And all these themes are all right there. And of course ends with the Christmas parade in Compton, which So what does that mean? Is he going to drop another album? Is that what that means? Is he going to be there? Is he going to be handing out turkeys? Is he going to be handing out gifts? What does this mean? Who knows? Who knows? But except I know this. It's a celebration of community. It's a celebration of a community that's often been overlooked and forgotten because it is made up of black and brown people. It is a community that is known and celebrated across the world because of the work and the art of the people who live there. Everybody's heard of Compton, but not everybody has heard of many other cities that are much bigger than Compton in California, okay? Like, I think Hayward is a bigger city, all right? Have you heard of Hayward? Probably not, okay? All right, is that my last slide? Yeah, that's my last slide. So that's good. I can go get up my 2-year-old. So there we go. Places and spaces, gate showing. I don't even know what I'm going to call this video. I just know that I'm happy that my little 3-month-old is just super happy, just sitting there, going like this. All right. Cool. What did I miss? You can tell me in the comments. But this, I just want to end on this, okay? Google snooping is fine. Videos explained are fine. But it's the humility that you need to be able to say, I don't know or I didn't know. We need to stop fronting. Just because you heard someone explain to you what something is does not mean you know what it means. There we go. All right. Well, until next time, let's stop making militant black figures into punchlines. Next time someone says Flava Flav, do not laugh. Do not treat Snoop Dogg like Martha Stewart's friend, okay? Let's honor. Anyways, so I just go crazy on this stuff. Because I'm a teacher. So I say Flava Flav and my students start laughing. Like, you're laughing? You're laughing at the 911 is a joke guy? You're laughing at the guy who wrote Black Lives Matter 20 years before the Black Lives Matter movement was started, which is what 911 is a joke is? You're laughing at this guy because he wears a clock? Anyways, all right, I better get going. There's the camera.